Hey, every pony! So here we are, the final episode before the dreaded hiatus. And to be honest, it was kind of a low-key episode to go out on, but it was still entertaining. And set up what I hope we'll be seeing in the second half of the season, the whole exploring Equestria theme. Yeah, remember that this season was supposed to be about that? And of all the places we've gone to, all but one are places we've seen before. I don't know, while I get the theme angle from a purely marketing perspective, it seems like the show staff has kind of a problem working that into the seasons. And speaking of that, it's good to see the cutie map back, with an explanation of why they haven't been using it, no less. Honestly, I really expected them to be like, oh, we just forgot about that thing. But the explanation does work out fairly well. I guess going through different timelines would burn the thing out. Plus, it's nice to see Starlight there in an episode that's not focused on her. This is what I said we should have been seeing through most of the season. It's a shame she didn't have any lines, but still, her just being there helps solidify that she is part of this group. But let's get to who this episode is about, Rarity and Pinkie Pie. Much like Gift of the Mod Pie, this seems like an odd pairing, but it works fairly well, actually. Especially since this situation does require each of their unique gifts. But as Rarity realized, they were just doing it in the opposite way. Actually, that's something that really did bug me about this episode. The moral ended up being, do things your own way instead of going with the crowd, and you will stand out. Follow your heart, not what other people tell you. Which is a great moral that we already had last season. That Rarity learned. So changing the restaurant into something she thought Zesty would approve of feels like a major step backwards for her. I get that she can get caught up on trends sometimes, but she was in this exact situation. So it's really hypocritical of her to say, hey, do it this way instead of following your passion, when she almost closed her store because she wasn't able to follow her passion because she had to follow a trend. The F, Rarity! Although, it is kind of amusing that this made Pinkie Pie the voice of reason. And I totally agree with her about fancy restaurants and their experimental food. Give me a nice slab of something any day over a little portion that whiffs through the air and into your nostrils. When I eat, I want to eat! So I was fully with Pinkie and the, one girl all the way. Yeah, the store owner and dad's names kind of escaped me. Sorry. But they were still interesting characters, even if they did fit kind of a stereotypical mold. I am really interested to know what country they come from. Are they from Saddle Arabia? Because that would be a nice continuation of something from, Season 3? Speaking of continuations, there were a lot of familiar faces in those background scenes this episode, including the Goth and Sunny ponies from Canterlot Boutique, and almost all of Twilight's friends except for Moondancer, and a couple of versions of Doctor Who's, and my favorite near the end, Gordon Ramsay pony. Honestly, he needed to be in there, because at least when he changes the restaurant around, he provides them with actual food on the menu. Plus, it would have been fun to see him yell at Zesty. Though Rarity telling it off was just as satisfying. Maybe even more so since she used to look up to her and seek her approval of the 3 hooves and all that. Although I hope Rarity has now learned her lesson about not following trends. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. Quite a while, apparently. So, yeah, this will be the last Pony Thoughts for a while. But rest assured, once the show comes back, so will I, to share with you more of my Pony Thoughts.